Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Like the Way You Drink.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, welcome. As we said, it's the 20th of July, 2026. We are on episode 190. All right. And we're only 10 episodes away for episode 200. You know that? Can you believe it's been almost 200 episodes?
Wow. I love it. I love it.
Pretty soon we'll be into 300s and stuff like that. Before you know it, anyway, time just keeps flying. Hey, we decided to do a very interesting twist this week. You know, this is what I like about doing our show is basically we can come up with our own ideas. And sometimes Gladys puts out half an idea, and I go and I steer her to another direction. Say, let's do this because I want simple and easy. It's probably why the name of my brand is Simple Easy. You know, anyway.
Yes. Wrong with that.
Gladys loves to do all this cooking, all this prep. If it's an extravagant cooking thing, my wife does it. But if it's something that I can get and put together, I do it. Tonight's episode, all right, our food tonight, yes, believe it or not, I did the recipe all the way from raw food to on the plate. Was done 100% by me because my wife is out of town. So, but anyway. Hey, Robert, thanks for joining in tonight. Appreciate you. Tonight's episode is all built around the city of Boston, Massachusetts. And I know that one of the reasons we did it was it's the 250th anniversary of America. You know, Boston Boston, Philadelphia, which we should do a Philadelphia thing, I think, probably a New York thing. But because like some of these cities in the 250th, we can go to them and some of the original ideas that come out of that city are great. The other thing why we chose Boston was my daughter's. This week is my daughter's birthday on Wednesday, and she was born in downtown Boston. So I thought we would do an interesting show around the city of Boston. Now everything that I have on my plate, almost everything I have on my plate, my daughter can't eat. She's allergic to seafood.
That happens.
But hey, we're going to have it. But also the thing that we're going to have today from Boston, all right, and I know that Gladys has worked up a great history on this because of the fact that we've had this beer on here before. It is a favorite of ours. It's always been a favorite of mine. But I've got two of them. I don't know what Gladys, she'll tell you what she has, but they are Samuel Adams beers, which are from Boston. They're Boston Lager. I have their Summer Ale.
Oh, that's the one I got too.
Did you get the Summer Ale too? Yeah.
I was going to get the original. I said, no, it's Summer Ale because there's specific ones that they have.
Yeah, but I got the original Boston Lager as well.
Yes.
I wanted to do two of them on the show. And I mean, I've always loved the Boston Lager. It's a great beer, but there's summer beers. I've always loved them too. I want to say the other beers, the two favorite, really, I want to say like original to that part of the country breweries that I gotta love. All right, that everybody can get are Samuel Adams and Shiner here in Texas, because both of them, they're built around that passion. And I think you've got some of the history today on Jim Cook, who created the Boston Beer Company, which makes Samuel Adams. Jim Cook, I remember listening to the early commercials when I lived up there. All right, him doing the early commercials were almost like Dave from doing the Wendy's commercials, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, he spoke about why his passion was there. All right, and Jim Cook has always had a passion for brews. All right, he's a man that he is one of the entrepreneurs I wished I could meet in my lifetime. Maybe if you guys ever see this and you can get him the message, tell him we'd love to have him on the show. All right. He is one guest that I've always admired because of the fact I knew he built his passion around something he loved, and he's a great brewmaster. So other than that, we get some great foods. I've got some New England clam chowder. I made a lobster roll, and of course, we were trying to find Boston cream pie. Now you actually found a Boston cream pie, didn't you?
Yeah. So it was quite interesting. So I was at the store, and I find this little guy at Boston cream pie.
Mm-hmm.
But I was at Kroger and I found this little guy right there.
Okay.
That one right there. So
cheated and went to my local donut shop, and I've got a Boston cream donut.
That's what I was going to get. But once I got this guy, because I was going to do this with if I hadn't seen it, I would have gone to Mr. Maple.
Now, I'm going to ask you this. Did they have, where you went, you got it, did they have it pre-made as the Boston cream donut, or did they have to add the cream?
I'm not sure. The girl that was there couldn't really give me a whole lot of information. It's a company that comes in and puts them into the, so it wasn't. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a local donut shop that we go to on a regular basis because of the fact that my grandson loves donuts. So, and it's right next to, oh, look at that lobster. Oh man. Right next to our Dunkin' Donuts, which I love, right? And that's when I lived in New England, that's where I got my coffee, got my donuts. All right. That was my middle of the night, go hang out when I had to pull all-nighters. That was where I went to get coffee and stuff. But I went to this local shop, and basically they make these donuts up because here in Texas, people some of them, they want them just like this with the topping. Sometimes they want it with chocolate cream into it. Right. Sometimes they want it with the cream that is the Boston cream donut. So they just have the creams, and they just, you pick the donut you want, and they just inject the cream or the jelly you want into it. So they don't pre-make them. They pre-make the donuts, but they don't pre-make the cream. They add the cream as you order. So, and then I've got, so here's mine. I made it, and I actually have an extra roll there to dip into my soup.
So I have,
yeah.
So here's the history behind both. This is New England.
Okay.
Lobster roll. This is Connecticut style.
Okay. Explain the difference between them, will you?
Yes. So Connecticut style is warm. And that's how it originally started, was with a warm lobster roll. Mm-hmm. And the newer one, which is the cold. So cold is New England, warm buttery is Connecticut style. So sometimes there's this back and forth as to what's the correct way to eat it. So really, as we say, you got to like it. If you don't like it, don't do it. So it truly comes down to what is your preference. And so if you are in certain areas of East Coast, you're going to have a preference one over the other. And you know what? Go for it. For us, the rest of us, we're like oblivious. So that's quite the interesting part, because it was first created back in 1929 at Perry's Restaurant in Milford, Connecticut. There's a traveling salesman that wanted something warm. A grilled lobster sandwich was prompted. The owner served it hot between the slices of white bread. And so this warm, buttery preparation became known as Connecticut style. And so that's when you get that warm chunks of lobster meat soaked in butter and then served on a steamed hot dog bun, which Tim did. The main style, which is the cold chunks of lobster on a toasted bun with or without a spread of mayo. Mine has mayo, of course. And so it was, there's a few things. The precursor to filling it appeared as a lobster salad, which was back in 1829, where it was tossed in egg yolk, oil, and vinegar. Then the main style was in 1970s, where roadside stands started to serve it cold with mayonnaise tossing the lobster meat, and then or steamy New England style split top bun. So this one I split it at the top versus the side because it's supposed to hold everything. That's why it's split on top. So the wider popularity came between 1960 and 1990, where it became a staple in Long Island, which was at the restaurant Lobster Roll, was affectionately known as lunch. So that's what they called it. They called it that restaurant lunch in 1965. And then, of course, by the 1990s, New York chefs were introducing the sandwich across a broader sense of audiences. So the debate is warm buttered Connecticut style or cold mayo dressed main style. It's really up to you. So, but it really starts with just a pound of lobster, minced celery, mayo, chives, lemon juice, lemon zest, kosher salt, and then freshly ground pepper, and then 4 tablespoons divided. So you're really cooking that lobster, chopping it up, and then tearing it into large chunks, mixing the celery, the mayo, chives, lemon juice, lemon zest, kosher salt, black pepper. Taste it. But if you're doing it the other way, you're just using butter. I did put garlic in the butter My mouth is watering, and I have a little bit of extra butter to dip it in. And I also have my clam chowder. Now, here's the thing with clam chowder. At least here in Oregon, I cannot get I cannot get clam chowder unless it's Friday. Every place I called on Friday, maybe Saturday if we have leftovers. So I had planned ahead just in case. I had purchased this Campbell's Slow Kettle Style.
Oh, okay.
New England Clam Chowder. So that is what's in here. I have no idea what it tastes like. The last time that I had really good clam chowder out at the coast and it was freshly made. It is not hard to make. It just takes time. But I have had fresh clam chowder made and it is absolutely delicious. And this time I did not doctor it up. It is just as it is. So I'm going to taste it, see how I like it. I don't know.
The thing, like I got one called Bar Harbor. So it was a canned one that we got to make. Because I thought the same things. I didn't even look around to see. Because mostly down here, same thing with you in restaurants. Is restaurants have their chosen soup of the day.
Yeah.
They don't have something they make every day. And I figured I'm not even going to play that game because we're on a Monday night and it's just when we record the podcast.
Yeah. I'm adding a little bit of celery salt in here to see if it's very watered down and it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor.
Most store brands I find are watered down, and most store brands or canned brands have smaller clams, smaller potatoes. All right. And it tends to be a more runny than a restaurant style, which will be a little thicker.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be usually thicker. It'll have smaller potatoes, larger clams.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that too? All right. And then what else is into it is depending on the restaurant. Excuse me. I like to add to mine is some parsley usually on top. I hardly ever add salt and pepper to mine, but I have added paprika.
Oh, I like that idea. I forgot to take pictures. Oh my goodness. I'm so
now. I made the extra roll because I'm dipping my roll into it.
Okay.
When it comes to clam chowder, I'm not a crackers person. I would rather do a good roll.
What I should have done to this clam chowder is that I should have bought some clams, which I did see them on sale. I should have just gotten them to add to it. I should have added some celery in there, some thyme. Yeah. I think that all would have made this taste better if I would have just doctored it up just a little bit.
And I think there's a key to that. You know, on our show, how many times do we mix a drink?
Right.
And, I mix my my martini. I'll have a little bit more. Maybe I'll have a little bit more olive juice in it than you will. Right.
Right.
Well, we all had to buy the vodka from the same store. We had to buy we had to buy the olive juice. We had to buy, the vermouth. Right. Well, it comes down to the same thing. Buy your canned stuff, but add stuff to it. By all means, make it. Yeah.
And then I'm going to focus in on Mr. Sam Adams over here.
Yeah.
But this was my little salad that's over here, and I put it in here. But I got to give up. This is going to be messy.
It's interesting, you know what I mean, though. All these foods are from Boston. But I'm in Texas, you're in Oregon, and yet these are standard foods you can get everywhere.
Yes.
The lobster roll, though, has taken a rise in interest recently over the last couple of years because of the food truck, the Cousin's Maine Lobster food truck. All right. And that became popular because they were on Shark Tank. So we're not counting on because they're on our show that they're going to go, nationwide famous. But hey, someday we hope.
And they do come to Wilsonville multiple times. They had their route where they were on Monday and Tuesday, and And the franchise owner here has like 3 trucks, I think it is. So they're able to hit multiple areas. But they're usually found at a lot of the festivals. But they would come here to Vanguard Brewing, Ordnance Brewing. Sometimes they're at Villebois, which is on the other side of the freeway. And they just announce it on Facebook and people show up. Okay, so
Well,
this was, I think that both of the sandwiches taste really good with the beer.
yeah.
But the Connecticut style, that warm buttery, it's just because there's like so much lobster forward, and I love that. So that's what I liked about that. This one, it's mayo forward.
When's the first time you ever had a lobster roll?
Mm.
Now, I'm going to go to lobster next, but lobster roll.
Mm.
The sandwich we are eating today. When's the first time you ever had it?
Actually, I think I had a lobster roll sushi before I had a lobster roll.
I think I had that too, but the idea of lobster roll, the first time I ever had one was off of a cousin's main truck.
Okay.
And again, I lived in New England. But yeah, I want to say it wasn't even here in Dallas. It was in the Hill Country. I was at a winery in the Hill Country, and that was just one of the food trucks that was parked at that winery that day. Now lobster.
That was the last time I had a lobster roll, was through cousins.
Well, it was my last time too. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember when was the first time, but I know that was the last time that I had it here in Wilsonville when Ordnance Brewing was still in business.
Okay. Now let's go to the lobster. When's the first time you ever had lobster in your life?
Well, probably in my 20s.
Okay.
Because I've always loved seafood and crab legs. And I remember taking my niece to Red Lobster.
Okay.
I was probably 19 years old at the time. And she was just eating the lobster and the crab. Oh, the crab. She loved crab. She was savoring that. It was amazing how much she loved it. So I do remember that when I was 19, going to Red Lobster and having lobster and crab and shrimp.
I don't think I can count the times I've gone to Red Lobster, but anyway, I think I was under 14 years of age. So we moved from one part of Pennsylvania to another when I was 14. I remember that. Well, the couple of years before we moved, the property I grew up on was the original farmhouse. Okay. And basically that farm was broken up into pieces and sold off.
Oh, wow.
All right. And we lived in the farmhouse.
Okay.
The garage and the barn were on the other side of the road. The garage was like literally right on the road across from it. And the barn was down, a couple 100 feet. A couple from New Jersey with kids bought that. And we got to know them, and we would do stuff throughout the summer with them when they would come over in the summer, because they would stay at their house in Jersey, but would come over on weekends.
Okay.
And because their dad was very well connected to the docks in Jersey, he brought lobsters for us one time, and we actually did a lobster cook.
Nice.
There at the house. That's the first time I ever had lobsters. Now, when I lived in New England, I lived there from 1987 to 1990.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, 3 out of, I say if we average it, it's 2 times a month all the time I lived there. All right. Because there was sometimes didn't, but on average, it was 3 times a month. We would have lobsters on Friday night.
Yeah.
Every year. All right. On Labor Day, Memorial Day. I don't think we ever did on the 4th of July. It was Labor Day and Memorial Day. We would have lobsters.
Okay.
Now, our lobsters we got, the reason we got them where I lived, and I lived in Lowell, Massachusetts and Tewksbury, Massachusetts, was we all knew somebody coming back from Maine with a truckload of them. And basically, I remember we were buying them like $1 a piece or $2 a piece back then.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this was the 80s, though. This was not like now. Now they're, you know what I mean? Now that you probably get the same people are probably getting them at $10 a piece.
This, I got it on sale for $6.
Yeah. I bought this. I want to say it was $7.99 for this
Normally
tail.
it's $15.99, so it was brought down to $6. And if I would have gone it at Safeway, I think they were like $4.99. I wasn't going to go back to Safeway because I wasn't going to buy the lobster tail. I was just going to make the other one, but then I thought, you know what? I got to make the Connecticut style, which I'm like just dipping it in here. And
I will say this about lobster is that I kept that tradition going on for many, many years. When I moved to Texas, now there was a couple of years in Texas, I was single, so I didn't do anything on the holidays. When my wife and I got together, I think the first year on Memorial Day, our neighbor was from Massachusetts as well. Well, he was from Massachusetts. She was from Guatemala.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, we went over there. I said, hey, you want in on a lobster day? He goes, yeah. We went and ordered a couple dozen live lobsters. I remember because Gwen and I picked them up and strapped them to the back of our motorcycles to take them home.
Were they all doing this?
No, they were in bags. No, they were in bags, but yeah. But like my neighbor was like, we were up on the back porch, my back patio on the lake, cracking the lobsters and eating them up, And I really, it was something I've always loved always done it around that holiday, right? So I even done it here in Texas. Now I will tell you, the best lobster I ever had was would have been before I moved to Texas. I went up to visit a friend that I was friends with online. This was the early days of being online, like the AOL days. But went up she lived in Maine, and we were friends. And I went up to meet her and say, hey, I'm just gonna come up. We're gonna have lunch together. And I said, because when I get back, I'm moving west. We went up. We went to one of the restaurants on the actual coast in Maine. Sat there and had lobsters. This was in December, right? I moved to Texas. And the second week of this January, my brother and I go to here, and it's a Cajun seafood place called Papados. I don't know if you know Papados, but we go to Papados on one of my first paychecks when I lived here, and I get a live lobster out of the tank. To which I was the only one that night in the restaurant who got the live lobster.
And they're like, "What was it? That $200 lobster?"
No, it wasn't. But the chef comes out, oh, you had the lobster. What do you think? And I'm like, What? I said, well, let me put this into perspective for you. I says, less than a month ago, I was sitting on the beach in Maine having a lobster fresh out of the water. I'm sorry, yours are great and all, but there's a difference between fresh out of the water onto the plate and 3 weeks out of the water sitting in a tank to the plate. It's just a huge difference. Not judging, but when you're up there, all right, like I said, the wins we got on weekends, I can't top that. You know what I mean? Nobody in Texas can get them here that fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's interesting though. Lobster's been like this unique thing. I know my daughter can't have it because she can't have seafood. She has shellfish allergy. I still love them. My wife and I, we still do them, with, cook them on the grill and add them to a steak sometimes, things like that. But we usually just get the tails. Yeah. We don't buy a full lobster anymore.
Yeah, it's you're getting a full lobster. You're really not getting a full lobster because there's so much that you have to break and get into. If you just get the tail, you're not killing the whole thing. You're just taking their tail. They'll grow another one.
Yeah. I did notice that one of the recipes I watched this morning on video was a guy talked about doing his lobster rolls with a whole lobster. And that's because some of the meat he used. He said that meat in the claws is some of the best meat you will ever have in a lobster roll. And that's the only way I wish I'd done because of that.
Okay.
So, good.
So a little bit of history from Sam Adams.
Yep.
It was founded in 1984, and he's the one that really helped ignite that whole American craft beer revolution. Yeah. And he had left the career that he had with the Boston Beer Company he left a consulting career, very profitable, to establish the Boston Beer Company. So sometimes, when you're following your passion, you have to make sacrifices, and he did. And he actually had found a recipe that his family had since 1870. It was in his father's attic, and he brewed the first experimental batch that would then later on become the Sam Adams Boston Lager from his home kitchen. So that's where that started. And of course, the name came to play in 1984. It was named after the U.S. founding father, Sam Adams, a Bostonian who inherited his father's malt house and famously called for a boycott on imported British beer. So that's where the name came from. But then it was there was an underground launch in 1985 because he had been denied loans in the bank. He raised, this is amazing. When you can raise $250,000 from family and friends, that's amazing. There was no GoFundMe. It was, asking and building relationships.
Grandma, how much money you got?
Yeah, you got $100. Okay, I'll take that. So he launched the lager by carrying cases door to door to 35 local bars and restaurants. Just 6 weeks later, he had been voted the best beer in America.
Yeah.
At the Great American
he was
Beer
passionate about going and knocking on beer and taste it.
Yep.
Taste it. All right. And that's what won most of New England over on his brand. And now we know it nationwide. But in the 80s, it was a New England type thing. And so we've got the Boston Lager, and I know you said the summer ale. So this is the summer ale.
Yep, and I'm looking for it because
this is the Boston Lager. Look at the difference between the color.
Let me get a picture of that. Hold on.
Yeah. I don't know if they have it anymore, but I'm going to tell you, throughout the 90s, their favorite that I used to get was their cherry wheat.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever have the cherry wheat?
No, but they have other ones during
different times throughout the year. They have different ones, and I'm going to tell you, I remember getting cherry wheat on tap at different places, and that was when I lived in Philadelphia, not when I was in New England. So, I mean, to me, it is still my favorite of all of their ones that they do.
Nice.
So yeah.
Sometimes you gotta try different ones, see what you like. But one of the things I was looking on the bottle, I'm not seeing it, and it's probably because I'm looking for it, but they were the first ones that started to print to consumer the freshness date.
Yes.
So that was back in 1988. And so that was kind of cool because I remember that in the 2000 something, some of the mainstream beer companies started to put, fresh by, but that was 20 years later. This was done back 1988. So I'm looking for the freshness date. I'm sure it's here somewhere, but
it's if you look at the side here, there's a scale there. Now it's not punched out, which it should be.
Okay. I'm not seeing the scale. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. I see it. Okay. It says freshness matters.
Depending on where you're getting it.
October. Mine says October. There's a little notch there. You can barely see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's like this little notch that's right there. And so fresh date by October. And then the other cool thing about this company is that they went public 1995.
Yep.
So their ticker on the New York Stock Exchange is SAM. Yeah. And one of the interesting thing is that they included a mailing coupon inside beer 6-pack so regular consumers could buy early shares.
Mm-hmm.
So those, imagine getting a 6-pack and then here's this little coupon saying, hey, you want in? So that was kind of cool. So they have made a lot of changes. They did also start with Angry Orchard, Twisted Tea. I did not know this, but Twisted Tea and Truly. So we had Truly on the podcast.
We had Truly on. I know that they're the owners of Truly. Yeah.
Yep. So Truly Twisted Tea, which is yellow cans, and Angry Orchard. I almost got Angry Orchard to tell, but then I went to Kroger and they did have both of the beers.
Well, they had the Angry Orchard. And they truly, I could have got all this in the pack, but I'm like, no, I'm doing specifically Samuel Adams today.
Yeah. And I was looking for it, and I was like, and one of the workers at Safeway, she's helping me look for it. I'm like, once we looked online, it said sold out. So she starts looking at Kroger, and it froze up. I said, "Well, you don't have a block where it doesn't let you go into the competitor?" She laughed. So I looked it up on my phone, and they had it. So I said, "Okay, I'm going to."
Wait a minute. Did you have that? Do you have your Kroger have that make your own 6-pack?
They did. They got rid of it.
Oh no, they had. That's what I did today. I made my own 6-pack, so I got one of each, and then I added some other stuff that I wanted. But anyway,
yeah, that would have been cool. They did have it at one point, and then they got rid of it. It was like $12.99. The Bethmo that I've been to, they allow you to do that. That's kind of cool. But I was very disappointed they didn't have that anymore. When they got rid of it, I went to look for it, and I was like, where'd it go? They had gotten rid of it. So they did not. So I just got a 6-pack of the summer ale because they didn't even have the 24 multi-pack or the 12 multi-pack, which sometimes you can get. They didn't have that. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. All right. So last thing I'm going to bring up here, because I've tasted I've eaten my lobster roll. I've tasted my clam chowder, and I've eaten about half of it. I really should have gotten a cup, but unfortunately the can makes a bowl. All right. In the summertime, when it comes to soups, I'm a cup of soup guy, not a bowl of soup guy. But the last thing on our thing was our Boston cream pie, which I cut this open for you guys to see. The Boston cream donuts. So you see the cream in the center.
I'm going to get a picture of it, but give me a second because I'm going to cut mine so I can get a picture.
So yeah, the chocolate on top. All right, the regular donut made, and then it's filled with a white cream.
Let me cut both of them.
Yeah.
Although this one, I think I could just.
It's the cream in the middle that makes the Boston cream.
Yes.
So.
Okay. So let me open it nicely here so that it can be seen. All right, let's show me yours.
All right, here we go again.
And let me get the other mode. Here we go. Thank you.
No.
So this is
now before I have that taste, you see, yeah, that's with the donut. Do you have the actual pie itself cut?
Yeah, that was more chocolatey on the inside.
Yeah, it's more chocolatey on the inside. It's done. The pie is done differently, but the donut's done one way. I'm gonna take and rinse. I'm gonna get a rinse on my mouth before I taste the different flavors. All right. So now I'm going to try the Boston cream donuts, all right, and the Samuel Adams lager together. I'm going to tell you, this is one thing I'm going to finish is the donut. All right. Hi, little boy, but you're going to go play with mommy, okay? I'll see you later. Go ahead. Go,
It
mommy.
was actually not horribly bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was the chocolate that helped it.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's that combination of chocolate and the cream that goes inside of it that can make any cake, anything you use for the cake batter will go well because it's the chocolate and the cream that make it. That's what does. So I've tasted it. I've got to have a little bit of beer with it now. I really love my donuts with coffee, but it does go with beer.
This was actually not horribly bad with the summer ale. It just had a little bit of bitterness in there. It was not horribly bad. I've had other tastes that clash with the pie. Definitely did not go well, but with the subtleness of the cream, and I think it was the chocolate that helped kind of balance it out. But me, because I'm not a sweet person, I had to go back to a little bit of savory to get the sweetness out of my mouth.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, I've tasted it with both the Boston Lager and the Summer Ale. It's better with the Summer Ale. Because the Summer Ale is a more lighter ale than the lager. I think ales and lagers. Your ale is going to be lighter than a lager. So that would make sense is why the sweetness goes better with the ale.
I'm so stuffed. I'm glad I only made one hoagie and not two. I did buy two, but because I had only one lobster tail, that was enough for only a half of a hoagie. I'm glad I only did half because I am stuffed. And I didn't even finish the hoagie. That was a little bit too much bread. Oh my
I
goodness.
ate the whole thing because of the lobster. And then I didn't eat the whole soup. I did a lot of the dipping, the bread and soup once the bread was gone. Again, I would normally have gotten a cup, but unfortunately it came in a can. Anyway.
This one I was just very disappointed. I'd have to do some doctoring for me to like it.
Oh, yeah. I'm never a fan of canned soup. The only canned soup I like that I would regular drink out of a can, or regularly eat out of a can, is tomato. But I would probably add basil. Probably going to do it, a doctor a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to have it with a cream, a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
But it's about the only soup that I eat fresh out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would rather get a soup from a restaurant.
Yes.
Although I've worked in restaurants, and then you'd be surprised at how many of those soups
are out of a can.
Or out of a can, or like, they're the leftovers of the week put into a soup. No, because I wasn't going to go where I was going to go, right?
And yet you did.
No, I didn't. I'm just going to say rule number 1 of not going there. Some of you will take it from there and know what I meant.
But this was yummy. Connecticut style, I kind of liked it a little bit better. Just that warm butteriness. It says lobster, whereas the main style, it's yummy. It really is. The mayo, if you're using Best Foods or Hellmann's, of course, that the mayo is going to make a difference. Being able to get that crunch from the celery, I really like that. And you're still getting those pieces of the lobster.
Yeah.
But somehow the Connecticut style, that warmness is yummy. But during the summer, main style is going to be better, especially if you're outside or, you need that coolness, that nice refreshing, and that's going to go very well with your summer ale. But if you are doing the Connecticut style, then I think the lager might go a little bit better because this one has some citrus in it.
It does, and I'll bet you, it does have citrus in it. But I can't say that what I had went better with either one of them. They went great with either beer.
I don't have the lager with me here to compare it.
Yeah.
But I thought that it went a little bit better with the cold versus the warm.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking because of that citrus-esque in the beer.
Yeah.
It went very well with that coolness of the mayo and the celery and the lobster. It was a good combination. And then there's citrus in there too. So it just brings it together.
Well, then again, it's my bad because I only did one version of the lobster roll. Mm-hmm. I could have really made this a great tasting had I made 2 versions of the lobster roll and then had 2 versions of beer. Because then I would have had to play combos to find what was right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is what we usually do on the show, but yeah.
Or what you prefer. It's not that it's technically right. It's more of what's your preference.
What's your preference? Yeah. So, but to me, you know what I mean? This is just another happy 250th to America. All right. Boston is one of those founding towns. So, we gotta, and they've got great food traditions that come from that town.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that makes America great is each one of these towns have a great food tradition behind them. All right. Sometimes you got to dig to find them.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway.
I'm content. It was a great choice. Yeah. Tim just said, get this and this. Okay. I didn't ask questions. I just did it.
This was like a half-assed. You suggested it. So, but that's how our show goes, is every now and then we come up with half an idea and we make it into an idea. But we have fun doing it every time.
That is a true statement. Very true. Oh, And it was funny because I got to be a lunch sponsor for an association here in Oregon today. And so, of course, they gave me an Italian sub sandwich. As I was leaving, they're like, there's extra sandwiches. Take one with you. Okay. So I ate it. I don't know what time it was, 3:00. So I wasn't super hungry, but man, I started smelling all the food and I got hungry very quick. And it was absolutely delicious. So I'm pretty content, except for that. Sorry, Campbell's. I'm very underimpressed with your clam chowder.
Well, that brings up ideas of what you said. All right, there's things that I don't think. Then again, 190 episodes, we can still come up with more combinations.
Oh yeah.
To do right. Like, have we ever done a sub and beer day?
No, we have not.
Have we ever done which version of pizza is better day and beer? Pizza and beer.
I think we've done. Pizza sounds familiar, but I don't. Yeah.
Don't know how we did it though.
No, because pizza I would just make from home. I love making.
So that's the thing with pizza is like now you can do homemade, you can do store bought, or you can do restaurant brand.
Yes.
And it's 3 different pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all 3 of them are the same pizza. They're just 3 different pizzas because they're made 3 different ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're going to taste different.
Yes.
When my mama and my aunt would cook the exact same dish, it would taste completely different.
So, I mean, you talk about Italian subs. I've started every now and then because I get really busy days that my new favorite sub play. Oh, we have done subs before.
I was going to say, yeah, because I remember going to Firehouse Sub.
Yeah, I got Firehouse as well.
But I don't remember what
I got a DoorDash that gets to Jimmy John, not Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I have it brought, delivered every now and then, and I like it. I know that I have a Firehouse right up the street. There's a Subway nearby. Not that I'm in a Subway's kind of lost its luster to me.
It has.
It's just not as good as it once was. But growing up, we had like my mom would do like this like a cafeteria type lunch about once a week or something like that with the school I went to, because it was a private school and we didn't have a cafeteria. So basically she would do this thing for lunches. And then, she would sell them ahead of time, and then she'd get all of me and prepare it, her and another couple of ladies from the school who were mothers. And I remember them doing subs, and I used to love the Italian subs.
Nice.
But now I'm a roast beef sub guy.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's all in what you like.
And speaking of what you like, go to likethewayyoudrink.com and join our Insiders Club, y'all. I'm going to be in Dallas in August, and there might be an event that you might be invited to. So make sure you get on that list. That's likethewayyoudrink.com.
I'm trying to find the thing to show it. I'm like,
he was in there.
I'm a little behind. I'm a little behind on my triggers for.
Because he wasn't ready for me to bring it up just yet.
No, I wasn't. But anyway. No, so yeah. So, and why we created this, guys, we enjoy doing this, and it's one of the things. I mean, we've been doing this almost 4 years, almost 5 years now.
Right.
Right. Granted, we don't do it every week. Every now and then we have to take a week off for different things going on in our lives. All right. But 190 episodes, we just try to figure out a way that we can actually enhance the experience and have you join us. So that's why we created what's called an Insiders Club. You must be 21 to join. All right. That way we can invite you to a place to drink. And now, granted, when you get to the place, they're going to card you anyway. But we aren't going to have private events that we don't know what your age is. And 21 is the general drinking age across America. All right. So we just do that. So if you want, go sign up for that. All right. It's no cost to join. It's just that's who we invite. Those are the people who we want to invite. Those are the people we're going to plan future episodes with. All right. And we'd like you to be one of them. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, go join our likethewayyoudrink.com and do it. This show is brought to you every week, ladies and gentlemen, by Gladys and I's businesses. All right. We put this all together every week. come up with the ideas, the cost of putting it together, the cost of the food, all right, is all our businesses pay the bills. All right. So we do that. So our businesses do a small commercial and we don't apologize for that. All right. We believe in sponsorship. And it just so happens to be that our businesses are the two first sponsors of this and the two permanent sponsors of our thing. And granted, we have other sponsors coming on board. And if you have a drink or a food item and like sponsor us, that's the people we're looking to work with. All right. But we all are talking to other sponsors. If your podcast wants to sponsor ours, we'd love to talk to you about that. But for now, we're going to go through our sponsorships. We're going to start with Gladys, as always, because she is the female and women go first. So go ahead, Gladys. Tell them about you.
Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. I am sporting my polo shirt today. I help employers become employer of choice through providing employee benefits. So if you're an employer and you're trying to figure out how do I motivate my people or how do I attract good quality staff and then retain them, guess what? We need to have a conversation. If you go to insurancedesignpros.com, on the upper left-hand corner, there is the white paper that will give you 101 different ways to attract and retain quality staff. But if you want to have a more in-depth conversation, go to enrollnoworegon.com. That is enrollnoworegon.com. That is my the link to my calendar. We can start the conversation. I will give you ideas. We can talk through what is most important to your staff, and then we can figure out how we can make that happen. And if it's something that I can't do, guess what? I probably know somebody that can, or somebody in your state. So go to enrollnoworegon.com. Let's start the conversation. This is Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. And this is my co-host.
Thank you, Gladys. My name is Tim Gillette. All right. And I run a company called Simple Easy Websites. Simple Easy Websites, where we build websites for the entrepreneur, the solopreneur, and the small business person who's looking to get their message out online, but not just looking to get AI and Google to find you. We want people to find you, and we want to make people that are converting. All right. So we're looking to build the language around the line. So when a real person comes to your website, they understand what you do, how you do it, and how you can help them. You want to find out more about whether your website is converting and how to get more leads out of it, go to simpleeasywebsites.com. Book a consultation with me, Tim Gillette, the founder of the company. We're glad to review your website with you and tell you how you can improve it. That's all I'm going to put on that. So basically, we're going to exit out of solo, put that out of there. One other thing I'm going to say today is we're starting to put up a lot of things on Instagram and Facebook. Please go follow us on Instagram and Facebook, because of the fact that on those two locations, when Gladys and I go out and do something different for the community, and it's related to the show, we put reels and stories up for that things on that page. Please go subscribe to Instagram.com, the Like the Way You Drink thing. And I think Facebook is the same one, Facebook.com, Like the Way You Drink. Mm-hmm. I don't have it here. I thought I had it here. I don't. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think Facebook might be Like the Way You Drink podcast.
Okay. Yeah, either way, but if you look on either platform and say, look up Like the Way You Drink, you're going to come up with us. All right. We're probably the top because I don't know anybody else who come up with this idea. But anything else you got this week, girl?
I've been just running around in various meetings. I've had so many meetings this month. It's been crazy. My calendar is pretty booked the rest of the month. Somebody was trying to get on my calendar, and I was like, there's one little sliver here and one little sliver there, and that's it. So get on my calendar while you can, because it does fill out. I think I'm 3 weeks out.
That's a good problem to have, but right. I would get on her calendar now, because in what is it? A couple months. It's not till November. Is it October or November?
No, November. Medicare starts October. I'm Marketplace and a small group. So that's November is when the craziness starts, where I'm working 6 days a week, 12 to 16-hour days. So it's craziness.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you joining into 190 episodes. We'll see you back here next week with another one. In the meantime, cheers.
Cheers, y'all.